Well, it certainly has negative connotations.
Slut is more of, I say, a downgrade of hoe. If you want to be sleeping with Tom, Dick, and Harry, then that's just what it is. I'm going to call you a slut.
In Germany, it's more like you're not tidy.
If you're in a committed relationship and you did something with another guy as a woman, your boyfriend calls you a slut.
She's certainly not respected by men or peers.
If you a hoe and you do hoe things, people gonna say you a hoe.
You're dressed a little provocatively.
An intensive amount of sexual activities.
Maybe a person who carries herself a little trashy, a little raunchy.
The word slut usually thrown at people who are sexy.
A woman or a girl of rather loose morals.
People may have their own definition of what a slut is, but the underlying assumption is the same. Female sexuality is somehow wrong. When someone uses the word slut, they're acting in judgment of such a personal and basic part of a woman. And who gets to decide who is too sexy or promiscuous? You? Me?
Promiscuous, what does that mean? If you have sex with someone you're not married to? Because in this day and age, people are having a lot of sex with people they're not married to in order to find someone that they would want to marry. Or just because they want to have sex with people.
The word slut is everywhere. And yes, slut is just a word, but it's the assumptions behind that word that are so damaging. As a therapist and psychology professor, I hear the stories of hundreds of girls and women, many of whom are struggling with the psychological effects of slut shaming.
Slut shaming is definitely a big problem in high school, and unfortunately it still continues into college, and I'm sure it probably continues past that.
I grew up, interestingly enough, with my father calling my mother a whore. And so I knew that word before I even knew what it meant.
I was struggling with it, you know. I felt very frustrated, and, you know, I had friends that just felt ashamed.
It's a double standard. Boys are expected to pursue and enjoy sexual exploration, but the same doesn't hold true for girls. Think of all of the negative expressions out there that describe a sexually active woman. Now think of all the negative expressions out there that describe a sexually active man. It's much harder. Slut can even be taken as a compliment by a man. We view male sexuality as healthy and normal, so it makes sense that a man would be flattered by the accusation of having a lot of sex. Slut works to polarize girls into two categories, good girls and bad girls. It's your hoes versus housewives. In psychology, we call it the Madonna whore complex. You're either pure and virginal like the Madonna, or you're basically like a prostitute. And there's no in between, there's no room for nuance. And thus, any girl is at risk of being branded with the bad girl label.
It was so serious for me, I modified my behavior in response to that. I sort of expected men to initiate sexual situations because I felt that if I initiated them, then I was a slut, a bad girl.
You know, I kind of tried to be a good girl. Like, I got married and I had babies and I did all these things, but without solving that internal conflict, there really was no peace in any of that for me. I had to ultimately resolve that conflict. When men have a sexual encounter, they say, sweet, like, that was awesome, that was a great night, I had a good time. But with women, what I feel from them and have felt from myself is that every encounter is an opportunity for self-reflection and self-assessment and sometimes character assassination.
If a girl is afraid that communicating her wants and boundaries somehow makes her slutty, well, intimate encounters become all about her partner and not about her own needs too.
We weren't really talking about our needs. We really weren't concerned with our needs. We wanted to ignore them, hide them. We didn't even want to know ourselves.
It contributes to this disassociation between our bodies and our minds, where we may feel one thing but feel that we have to act another way to fit into the society.
They're afraid what it would look like if they were to appear so wanton in their desire. There's still a fear of, during a kind of sexual encounter, that I should just act like I enjoy whatever happens.
Studies have found when women are concerned with appearing pure or good, they're less likely to use condoms. It's this idea that practicing safe sex indicates that they were planning for sex to occur. And even with the kindest doctor, Some girls are afraid that taking charge of their sexual health will lead to judgment.
I think a lot of young women are a little concerned about judgments that could be passed in a gynecology office. For example, on how many sexual partners they may have had or have, what type of sexual relations they're engaging in. I don't pass any judgment in my office. I'm there to take care of somebody's needs and really deal with the medical sides of things and hope that my patients feel comfortable.
So what can we do? How can we make change? The first thing to do is just think about the word. Why do we say it?
It's really important to be very aware of what we're saying and try to start those conversations with your friends. If you hear them say the word slut, question them a little bit, push back, don't be afraid.
If we come from a place of kindness and communication, then we'll understand that we're not alone.
I had to find a way to hear my own voice outside of the cultural din of disapproval of who we are as sexual women.
If it's a contest of who wants sex less, I guess I win, but I don't know if I'd want to win that battle.